Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an insane week for Star Citizen. They just released a roadmap roundup and a monthly report. In addition, there's a patch that just went live. We got to play Pyro the last couple of days. We're going to get to keep playing that until the 15th. IAE is coming up. This is an absolutely insane quarter four for Star Citizen, but we got a roadmap and a monthly report to check out. So let's check out those today before we actually hop in and play some cool things, which we'll do later. So if you've never checked out the roadmap roundups or the monthly reports, the way that these work is essentially we get to find out what's coming out in patches in like soon. The last couple of roadmap roundups have been pretty light in preparation of CitizenCon, same with the monthly reports. So I'm expecting there to be a lot of information here, and spoiler alert, I've read them and there is a lot of information in there. Who'd have thunk it? Let's start with the roadmap roundup. First off, the really obvious things got added to the roadmap were the Drake Cutter Scout and the Zeus Mark II. These were the ships that were announced during CitizenCon. So these have been added onto the progress tracker, not onto a release view, just the progress tracker as they get worked on. I don't think they're going to take too long. The Cutter Scout is probably almost finished and presumably going to be in 321. Guess we'll find out soon. I feel like the Zeus is going to take a little bit longer, probably 6 to 8 months from now. The important one, first off, added to the 321.1 release view is the new data heist missions. Implementing missions that task players with infiltrating locations, often held by NPCs, reaching data stores, and setting data to upload to off-site handlers. These are the missions that they were talking about during ISC. We have gotten a little bit of a look at them almost when they added the retrieve consignment missions in, because it's essentially the same thing, but you're doing some hacking rather than just bringing boxes. Following cards have been added to release view, targeting release in Q4 in Alpha 322. This is a big one. This is a really big one. We have a bit of an understanding now of what's actually in 322. So, player hair update. This is what we saw during CitizenCon. Updating the Star Citizen character customizer with 20 hairstyles from Squadron 42. This includes long hair, tied hair, and updates to the existing short hairstyles. Yeah, we got to see these during CitizenCon. They add a lot of variety to the characters for sure. But one of my favorite things is when they did the hair dye and you can like choose how deep the roots go versus the dye. I think that looks really cool. The one that most people are looking forward to, structural salvage. Implementing the ability to transform large chunks of metal salvaged from ships into a refinable material. This will use the grinder systems aboard salvage ships like the Vulture and Reclaimer. This was one of the best ISCs they've done this year, where they actually showed the initial how are we going to get this to work, and now they're planning it for 322. What? This is absolutely huge. Salvage is continuing. We're going to get to see how the Reclaimer and the Vulture are going to actually work with their other mechanics, right? We've already got the hull scraping. We've already got, you know, getting cargo or getting pieces of ships. But now they're planning this. Clearly something went well here with Salvage Structural. I think we're going to have to wait to see maybe what the like VFX team actually is going to do with this, because we know that that was a large part of hull scraping is these brand new laser effects that we got. Good to know that it's this close, because I thought that they were just going to leave it and wait for a couple of years. Inventory cargo containers. This feature will allow players to store items in smaller cargo containers and larger cargo containers. The Santok. This is a ship that I'm really looking forward to. Building, balancing, and implementing Airpower's medium fighter, the Santok into the game. Now, one thing, I'm a little disappointed this isn't going to come with IAE. However, that's going to be a fantastic Christmas present. Very excited for that one. After that, we have the 3X1 vehicles. These are the Origin hover bikes. Also 322. Now, that's the roadmap. As you can expect, chat, from this roadmap, also a shit ton of things in the monthly report. This is the first monthly report since CitizenCon that we had 2 weeks ago, obviously. So now we get to have a look at these in a bit more context. A lot of the things in here are going to make a lot more sense to me now, I feel like. We're going to start seeing more and more on these updates now the Squadron is finished and most of that team is back on the PU. I don't know if most of the team is back on the PU, but they did confirm that they have started transitioning the team to the PU. So I would expect new features to come out more frequently, but like the features themselves, I expect are still going to take the same amount of time. It's just there's going to be more of them each year, if that makes sense. At least than we've seen over the last 2 years. Let's have a read of this with, you know, yeah, the newly added context of what CitizenCon brought us. Last month, AI features focused on bringing AI combat functionality from Squadron to the PU for the Alpha 322 release. This involved introducing squadrons' accuracy calculation, perception reactions, ammo management, hazard avoidance, medic behaviors, and combat tactics. This sounds sick. I am really excited for this, actually. So they showed a lot of the NPCs in CitizenCon doing things, essentially, showing their behaviors. This is also going to include, you know, picking up loot from other, like, dead bodies, picking up loot from loot boxes, picking up guns, healing each other. That's one I'm really, really excited to check out. And from what I've heard, the testing for this is in the EPTU. Based on how I've been hearing about the performance of the patch, I don't know if we're going to get to see it, but we're going to at least spend some time checking that out tonight. Now, I don't know if this was mentioned in CitizenCon. Do we think at all that medical NPCs can heal us yet? Can they figure that out? In October, the AI tech team continued work on the Boyd system, an Apollo subsumption tool alongside optimization and improvements for the wider PU, Pyro, and CitizenCon. I don't think they mentioned Boyds at all during CitizenCon, right? Fauna is Boyds. I feel like whales and cows don't use the Boyd system, though. I feel like they're actual NPCs. Like, the Boyd system, I assume, is supposed to essentially be non-interactable NPCs. Yeah, Boyds are birds, rats, fish, that sort of thing. Even then, they still didn't really talk about the whales and the cows in CitizenCon. They just showed them during the engine, right? So essentially, they still didn't talk about Boyds at CitizenCon, which was interesting. On the behavior side, multiple improvements and integrations were completed for both ship AI and NPCs to add the same functionality from Squadron. I am curious to see how ship AI changes. Animation! The animation team spent the month delivering facial animations for combat AI, including female combatants and various background characters. They also planned out the required actions for some new creatures. Possibly some more things. Like, do we think we're going to get the Microtech Yeti anytime soon? Wait. Chat. Hear me out. IAE is that new Babbage again. What if? This is the most, like, hopium thing in the world. What if, as part of IAE this year, New Babbage has, like, a Yeti horde mode? It'd be pretty cool. Either way, I'm just excited to see things that aren't humans running around. In October, the character art team began work on a racing flight suit and its helmet, started new creature models, and prepared for SitCon. Alongside this, the character concept art team further explored ideas for fauna and medical outfits. As always, the ship section is everyone's favorite section because you get to hear about all the cool new ships coming out. In October, the Crusader A1 and C1 Spirit both reached the end of final art, while an all-new ship reached final art with its final reviews approaching soon. Presumably a straight-to-flyable at IAE. White box work for the RSI Polaris increased as more artists were freed up from other projects. The exterior white box is nearly finished, with elements like turrets in progress. How long do we reckon it's going to take the Polaris to come out? Are we looking at IAE next year? You reckon it'll come out before Invictus? Ooh, that's a tight schedule though. I think Polaris before Invictus is, coming out for Invictus is a bit tight. Because that's like 6 months? 7 months from now? Focused on the habitation areas on the front of the ship, working their way back to ensure that everything is set up and ready for design to make a pass. The exterior white box is nearly finished with elements like turrets in progress. That's months and months of work still. The team also worked on changes to the Reclaimer to support structural salvage, as we just talked about in the roadmap roundup just before, including altering the claw and interior salvage station. A new variant mentioned in last month's report continued through Grey Box, with all vehicle components being added. Once these geometry changes have been completed, it will receive a damage pass. So a new variant as well, which most likely going to come out during IAE. Finally, on the run-up to CitizenCon, the team completed a pass on the A2 Hercules to add relays for the Resource Network demo, as well as creating the relay asset itself. The important one that I want to point out is this one. An all-new ship reached final art. That is definitely a brand new ship for IAE. What is it? I'm hoping alien ship. We've got a purple theme for IAE. We haven't had a new alien vehicle concept or whatever since the Raylan, if I'm not mistaken. I reckon straight to flyable alien ship. And then we get the Santok Yai the following month. You know, I always skip the community section of the monthly reports, but we had CitizenCon, the Banu. I always forget which one's Banu, which Jean, but that's terrifying. This is the third month that the economy team has been in the monthly report. So let's see what they're doing. In October, the economy team continued balancing the profitability of commodities for Pyro and Stanton. A lot of the work that they talked about last month, adding commodities to the new stations that popped up at the jump points. It's all how do we help the economy right now? I really want to know what their idea is for the other stuff, you know what I mean? For the later game stuff. They also began reviewing and balancing the AoE prices of vehicles, identifying various criteria to help inform how they should be priced to better reflect their current potential. Similarly, they started balancing the prices of armor using an algorithmic approach based on information pulled from live game data. Vehicle and armor price balancing feeds into the team's goals to holistically balance effort versus reward across the game and provide other teams with guidelines on how to price items in the future. In general, that's fantastic. All of you will know, well, most likely all of you will know, how rough the economy can be when a new patch comes out and there's no like monetary reason to do anything other than this one specific thing. So like for the current patch, if you just want to make UEC, there's not really any reason for you to do anything except for salvage contracts and take the cargo. In previous patches, it was like there's no reason for you to do anything but Quantanium mining. There's no reason for you to do anything but combat missions, etc. Economy also supported other teams on gameplay features, including the vehicle tractor beam, salvage contracts, and the profitability of loot found in vehicle racks. Why is the economy team helping? Like, I get helping with contracts and I get helping with profitability of loot. Why are they helping with the tractor beam, the vehicle tractor beam? This could be a good thing, I guess, because this could be in reference to like, well, now you can get more profits by using the tractor beam or something. So I wonder, is the economy team therefore also responsible for doing like spawn chances and stuff like that? I guess they would be, right? Because that all sort of brings into like, you know, what's your average UEC you're making, that sort of thing. Engine! The majority of the Engine team's work last month involved preparing for CitizenCon. All teams were hands on deck to deliver features and support other teams on work related to what we showed at CitizenCon. This is always an interesting time as it is very stressful but also rewarding, and everything comes together due to the focused effort. Lastly, the Entity System Tech team supported the online team to deliver the server meshing demo while continuing to work on editor entity streaming. This is the first time I've been able to read the engine section and actually understand everything they're talking about. The engineering team primarily focused on the development of multi-crew gameplay and spawn locations, adding features such as locking and unlocking vehicles for spawning and seat selection within vehicles. And that was one thing that was really, really big missing from 320 that I hope we'll see soon. They also created a new game mode featuring master modes and added various quality of life improvements and bug fixes for 322, including a rework of the friendly fire system. Finally, for engineering, work was completed on the solar flare hazard, which was featured in the Pyro Playground at CitizenCon. I did hear Duncan say that they worked on the solar flare hazard, which is very interesting. I'm curious why the Arena Commander team did the solar flare stuff. It's cool, and I love it. I think it's a fantastic feature for Pyro. I just want to know why the Arena Commander team was doing it. Probably because Duncan's cracked, honestly. Just give the whole game to Duncan. He'll work it out. He knows what he's doing. They also created the custom lobby UI, made various improvements to existing UIs, and completed work on multiple new FPS and atmospheric flight locations. New maps! Features gameplay. They made significant progress on engineering gameplay, including the UI. They also progressed with structural salvage, and are currently in the final phase of their vehicle tractor beam work, which we're going to get to check out today. So yeah, they're still working on it. Work continued on the Blockade Runner global event, with focus given to deciding which commodity is to be transported. Improvements were also made to the scenarios that occur when a player is interdicted during the event. And important work on the event backend means it can now be scheduled better. Already talked about this before. I'm not super keen on the Blockade Runner event. It feels like a worse version, like a less fun version of Ninetales Lockdown, but in better locations. Still sort of undecided, but obviously we have to play it first before I can tell if it's fun. Mission features worked alongside economy to more accurately balance the cargo manifest seen in salvage, bounty, and assassination missions to ensure they don't break the economy. Here is a dramatic recreation of exactly what happened in this situation. So I'm Elliot, okay? I'm Elliot. Economy team, I'm fucked up. I'm messed up, man. They're making like 10 mil an hour. I'm so sorry. That was not funny at all. I'm so fucking cringe. No, we love Elliot. We do love Elliot. But I like that they do have an economy team that they can go to now and be like, hey, how much on average should they make from these based on the data that you guys have been looking at? The ship trespass feature passed its go, no go and was integrated for the next release. The team are currently investigating non-violent means to remove trespassers from ships. Why? Why investigate things that I'm never going to do? I'm just always choose violence. The updated Siege of Orison global event and New Babbage new player experience are currently going through the QATR and final polish stages, Designs for future content also progressed. So we're probably going to see Siege of Orison after IE again. In October, the vehicle gameplay team focused on bug fixing and QOL improvements for 321 and CitizenCon. They also improved the handling of ground vehicles across different terrains to make them more predictable and tweaked various other ship systems to improve gameplay balance. I really hope they're able to get the ground rebalance done well, because it has not felt great so far and has kind of ruined Star Citizen racing for me, at least ground racing. Locations. This is always one of my favorite bits because I feel like this is where a lot of the gameplay happens. The Sandbox team continued to work on Pyro settlements and the new underground facilities. Alongside this, the Organics team worked on planets and some smaller features for Pyro. So we've gotten to actually travel to these locations. And then obviously we got to see this during the Destination Adventure presentation. And they're really cool. I am disappointed we didn't get to see the underground. Obviously they're not done with the underground, but yeah. October saw a flurry of activity for the narrative team as they worked towards finalizing content for CitizenCon. While narrative didn't have a presentation at this year's show, they supported other teams and worked hard to get content polished and ready for the Pyro Showcase, which featured numerous new missions from brand new factions. R&D. I think this is the largest R&D section I've seen before. In October, time was dedicated to cloud shaping improvements for use in 321 and beyond, which will allow the team to author more varied cloud content. For example, it is now easier to break up cloud fronts. The improvements also provide more flexibility in blending shape noise at height. As a result, the consistency of short versus long distance reads was improved, and tiling from orbit is less noticeable. Yes! That has been the one thing that I absolutely despise. The one thing that SE have always done amazing is the looks of the game, but anytime you get far enough away from a planet, especially with the clouds, it looks so janky. I do think at least Pyro did not have that problem. Pyro, any of the Pyro planets that we can go to from a distance look great, but one place that you can see it a lot, go to Hurston, go to Everest, and then look down at Hurston during the daylight, and it looks really weird and janky. I don't know why. It looks like it's been peppered. The first iteration of ground fog was also made available to the content teams, which follows terrain up to a specified height per location and fully integrates into the atmosphere. As a result, it receives volumetric shadows from both clouds and terrain, along with dampening direct and indirect light scattered through the atmosphere into the view ray. Another thing that's really good about that is that it's really good at disguising popping in. I know that they mentioned at CitizenCon that like they're going to try to reduce the amount that stuff pops in anyway. This is going to make it look better when you come down, because you're not going to be able to see all those trees and stuff popping in as much because they're going to be covered in ground fog. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, VFX. Last month, the VFX team completed their work on Pyro in preparation for Pyro transitioning into player hands. They also worked on the all-new water simulation and effects alongside the graphics team and provided VFX support for various other teams' CitizenCon presentations. And that is the October monthly report. What a month. CitizenCon was absolutely insane. So many things getting added to the roadmap. IAE is coming up in a couple of weeks' time, and it looks like based on all of the like art ship presentations, there's going to be a hell of a jam. And not to mention, of course, all of the new missions that we're going to get to see really, really soon too. If you are watching this over on YouTube, I stream a lot. I am now also streaming on YouTube, so you can watch me there, or you can watch me over on Twitch. You get to decide who's cooler. We're going to have a fight between the two chats. Make sure to like it if you like the video. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. 07s.